please welcome the incomparable
Thank
Marilu
you.
Henner.
Whoa. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark.
Marilu, you are just, you know, there are those people in life who are just loved beyond measure, and somehow you're one. And what do you make of that?
It's because I remember everybody, so people are afraid to be not nice to me, you know, and I think that has a lot to do with it, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think my memories definitely helped me in a lot of ways, and I don't know. I'm a girl from Chicago, neighborhood girl, kind of the girl next door in a lot of ways, from a big family, so I learned how to navigate and negotiate early and get along with people, 6 kids in my family, so I don't know. But thank you so much for the compliment.
You even emerged from Celebrity Apprentice with a lot of people liking you.
They called me Switzerland. I know. But, you know, when you got some crazies on there, it was like, and I loved it. I hope it stays on for another 2 years because I'll go back for the next
There you go.
Something.
Now, your radio show.
Yes.
You can do almost anything. You've done almost anything.
Yeah, and I'm still doing a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got a Food Network show, a memory game show coming up. I've got, 10 movies I'm doing for Hallmark. I'm writing my 10th book, and but I love this radio show.
Well,
I'm
tell me
obsessed
about that.
with it.
Why?
All right. Well, you know what happened? Every time I had a book tour, I would say, "Is there a radio tour? Do I get to be on the radio?" Because I'd go to the station, and the guys were the sexiest, the funniest, and the women. They were a riot. I always felt like the interviews could really breathe. It wasn't like, "Okay, you're on the Today Show, here's the list of questions." And once in a while it would veer off a bit, but I loved radio because it was like for the mind, and things would happen, and there was a spontaneity to it, and I just loved it so much. So because of the books and the memory stuff, I go around the country speaking. I do a lot of speaking engagements every year, and somebody saw me in Chicago and said, "You should have a radio show." And I said, "Okay," because I love radio. I'm a very auditory person, and I feel like that's just always been kind of my passion. And so we started doing it. My brother said, "Mayor, we're a vegan booth at a gun show," because it was like I was trying to talk about health and they were talking about Armageddon. But then what happened was Sun Broadcast Group, somebody saw me, heard about me, heard me on the radio and said, "You should get this girl involved," and she seems to really love it and everything else. And this is how I describe it. I was the keynote speaker at NAB a month ago, and I said, all these great things I love to do in my life. I said, radio is the best of all of it because it has the immediacy of a live performance. It has the personal expression of writing a book. It has the storytelling of a movie. It has the global reach of a long-running sitcom, and it has the opening night on Broadway every single day. Every single day. This is what I get to do. So nothing is ever wasted. And I think maybe because, I love connecting the dots and doing all kinds of things and the people that I know, and nothing is ever wasted. You get to use all of it, and I just love it. Every day that I finish, because I do it 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, every day I do it, I wake up thinking, how can I make it better? Every time I finish, I can't wait till the next day. And it's just been, I take my little Comrex and I go on movie shoots with it, and I, constantly getting liners from people, and but they've all been on my show.
There are a lot of stations that like to hire you to do that.
I bet. Well, actually, everybody's been on the show, but when I call my friends and people, it seems to have it's been great because I've had a lot of wonderful people on the show. So
what was the one moment though when you said to yourself, I can do this, or did you really have that feeling from the beginning?
Well, I'm always still hoping that but I would have to say that November 12th of the moment when I made Nancy Grace cry, I don't know why.
The world has been waiting for that for a long time.
She's become a friend of mine. We did a speaking engagement thing together, and for some reason, it was my son, we were talking about being 19 again and what it's like and everything else, and so she started telling me this story, and I thought, wow. I think also I interviewed Dick Cavett, and he said it's about a conversation. It's not an interview, it's a conversation, and that was very freeing for me in a lot of ways. And I worked with Valerie Geller, who was great at teaching me the you, and now I talk like that in my own life, and so I don't know. There was just, I'm always learning, I'm always growing. It's fun to have done all the different things that I do and I'm still doing, but there's a whole new frontier for me, and I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
So much of, spoken word, talk radio, whatever we want to say, is of a political nature.
Right.
And what you're doing is, on one sense, very much in contrast to that, but also what you're doing is so much more common conversation. You know,
Sure.
when we out in the world, most of us aren't meeting each other on the street saying, "What do you think about what the president's up to?"
Yeah.
Most of us are having more informal
Of
conversations
course,
on
it's
other
real
topics.
life. Yeah. Well, also there's so many other people doing it, you know. And I having taught, once I started writing the books, I started teaching classes online at marilu.com. I have 30 teachers who teach my program and have since 1999. And I recognize that if you're trying to change the world, if you're trying to really, you know, get people to like listen to other things besides being a political person, whatever, you alienate half your audience if you're talking too much about one side or the other. And that's not what I'm doing. I mean, that's not what I'm here for. You know, I love interviewing celebrities, doing lifestyle, playing Defend Your Gender, talking about, you know, other people and what's going on in their lives every day. Because, you know, but trust me, I mean, I always say I try to stay away from politics and religion unless it's about GMOs, unless it's about, you know, things about health or whatever.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
surprised there aren't more shows that
Oh,
do
like
what
mine?
you are trying
Yeah.
to do, because what you're trying to do seems to me to be more in tune with what most people talk about most of the time.
Right, for sure. And, you know, and you know, the call-ins and stuff, I can sort of hear that. So I don't know. I mean,
So
I still...
what have you learned about doing the radio show?
Oh.
What have you learned that you didn't know before?
Well, I didn't realize how immediate it was and how much fun that was going to be. I had no idea that people love to come on and talk and that you can let the twists and turns happen. I thought maybe that's just something I was lucky enough to do with the people that were interviewing me. But every single conversation, I love the research. And maybe because I get presented with maybe 40 topics a day and I do all the research on it and all the people, we usually have like 5 to 7 guests a day, I get to do, and I can always find that little nugget from their past or some connection that I might have with a story or whatever. So I love that. I love kind of being, you know, mining for other things that maybe the publicist wants us to talk about, and I'll honor that because I know what that's like to go on and promote something. But I can find that other little thing that maybe somebody wouldn't talk about otherwise. So there's something I love. And I just love, I love that it's all right there. It's what I said, those 5 things that I love to do. I get to do it, all of it, in the radio show.
Have other established talents, people in the industry, come to you and say, "Gosh, you know, this is something I'm thinking of. What advice would you give me?"
A couple of people, but you know, they think of it as like the work is. They can say, "Oh, well, you can do it because you don't sleep much, you know, and you can do it because you know you have that memory or something." I think more people are afraid to do it because they feel like it is a lot of work, and especially it takes a lot of energy, and you know you have to. But no, I mean, nobody has come to me and said, this is what I really want to do.
What advice would you give to some
You've got to
established
love
celebrity?
it. You've got to love it. It is hard work. You've got to feel passionate about it. You have to be able to use everything that is your life, and you have to you have to be a really good listener because things happen so quickly. You know you don't want to miss that little moment. You know, and I've hosted talk shows before, so my training is to always, you know, somebody says something, it's like wait, you just said this, so you know, to know that there's something very exciting about the present time of radio. And so, you know, I would probably give people advice saying, you know, practice beforehand, learn to listen.
In the present time, what do you mean by the present time?
You're
of
in the
radio?
moment. You're totally in the moment. You can ride the wave of whatever is happening. One of the reasons I loved David Letterman, and I did his show many, many times, is that he was very good. Oh, I'm losing my thing. He was very good at riding the wave. You know, you didn't feel like Dave, as much as he may have had questions ahead of time, whatever was happening in the moment, he could ride that wave. And that was what I think made him such a genius. You know, he didn't let anything slide. And I think that's what, you know, I think that's the fun of radio and interviewing people.
Were there any surprises for you, things you didn't expect that really surprised you about the show?
Surprising? Well, maybe because I had done it before, I was surprised at how much I would love it. I was surprised. I mean, I knew I would like it a lot and I'd have a certain love. I am surprised at how passionate I feel about it and how great everybody is and how embracing people have been. And, you know, every time I'm at a big convention or something like today, it's so much fun. You know, I feel like they're letting me into this very exclusive, the Cool Kids Club that I didn't know, you know, was so cool.
This is very cool.
It's very cool.
Yes.
It's the coolest. No, it's by far the coolest because it has all those things, you know, that immediacy, that personal expression, all of those things, and that it's so right now. That's what I love about it.
So why should a radio broadcaster out there, a group, whatever, who has an avail, they're looking to fill it, why should they choose your show?
Because nobody ever turns me down. No, seriously. One person turned me down.
They're dead now.
Call. Somebody will say, Marilu wants to talk to you, or people will say, oh, the publicist, so I think maybe that's one of the reasons. And it was only Tom Colicchio, and he said he'll come on when there's the next Top Chef. I don't know. I think, I'm a girl from Chicago. I've done a lot of different things. I had my baby on national television, so I have no secrets. You can ask me anything. I'll talk about anything. I'll remember anything. And, so maybe that's my forte as a host.
Uh-huh.
But I think because I'm genuinely interested in people, and we talk about things that people are talking about. We talk about everything. We don't take a political stance, which I know they can find someplace else. And sometimes I do about other things. But I feel like, there's something there. I do a lot of things based on the books. So I wrote a book called I Refuse to Raise a Brat. So every week we're always putting people in the brat corner. Justin Bieber kind of lives there, but, we have people in the brat corner, and we talk about, and we have a lot of different demos on the show. So we have a millennial, we have a, baby boomer, and we have, just a Gen Xer. So we have a range of people, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. In a great way. I mean, I'm very excited about my show.
You don't like to talk, do you?
I'm one of 6 kids. Yes, I do like to
I'm
talk.
sure there are questions from Marilu
do you have a
Henner.
question for
Anybody
me?
have questions? Want to rise to the mic and ask it?
Has your memory situation, has it ever been a problem for you?
Never. It's never
should
been
explain
a problem.
for anybody who doesn't
I have a very
know.
unusual memory. I'm one of a small group of people who has highly superior autobiographical memory. You can ask me any date within my lifetime. I'll tell you what day of the week it was and what I was doing on that day. I've been tested at UC Irvine. I've done 5 segments on 60 Minutes about this. They've literally taken measurements, 300 measurements of my brain and the others of us who have this, and they have found 9 areas that are 10 times larger than the normal brain. I've answered over 2,000 questions. I've done all kinds of memory, skill testing, blah, blah, blah. And some of the people who have this find it a burden. I have never found it anything but an absolute joy. It's like having the best organization system in your head ever. And as one of 6 kids, anybody from a big family, you're like cats in a bag. You are like one of a litter. You look for anything that differentiates you from your brothers and sisters. And at 6 years old, I knew I had the best memory in the family. I could fall asleep at night saying, what did I do a year ago when I was in kindergarten on this very day? What could I do when I was my little brother Lauren's age? What was I doing? Now I do it with my kids, and not that long ago, I was thinking, what was I doing when I was exactly Joey's age? And I thought, oh, that's the day I lost my virginity, But it's kind of like time travel. It's a way of meditation, and it's, there's nothing somebody can talk to me about that doesn't have a story, an attachment, a date, a something to.
Do your kids have this skill too?
My youngest son, Joey, he shows signs of it.
So what's the best way to improve our memory?
Okay, well, first of all, I have theories about memory. I really do believe that, everyone has a primary track on which they've embedded their memories. Everyone has something that they remember especially well. It's like in the jigsaw puzzle of your life, what are the hard-edged pieces? Because you can start to interlock the other pieces to it. It could be something like travel. It could be, travel's a big one. Sports for guys, huge. They won't remember the wife's the anniversary, but they'll remember what game, 30 years ago, what they were wearing, what they were drinking, who scored, things like that. Jobs, places you've lived, relationships, hairdos, food is a huge one for people. Then on top of that, I also really do believe that everyone, I don't talk this fast on my radio show, I just want you to know. I just know I've got a short amount of time. I also believe that everyone has a dominant sense. Everyone has sight, sound, touch, taste, or smell that is their stronger sense. Probably most of the people here sound. And if you can cross-connect your primary track and your dominant sense, you can figure out how you receive, retain, and then retrieve memories. I think a lot of times people go to things like Sudoku, and those things are great, but if you start using your own life, you can actually bring back memories. And one of the things that I always tell people to do is when you're brushing your teeth at night, you're supposed to do it for 2 minutes, scroll through your day and just go through the montage of your day and figure out what was worth remembering, what did I go through? Because this is how I always describe it. If all you do is you wake up, you live your life, you turn off the light, you go to sleep. You wake up, you live your life, you turn off the light, you go to sleep, and nothing has moved forward, well then, what does it all mean? So to me, developing a stronger autobiographical memory, it's really your strongest line of defense against meaninglessness that you have. Because you can figure out what's from my past, how do I bring it to my present, and how do I inform a better future? It's like you can start noticing red flags. Oh, that's, or like things that like, okay, what did I do the last time I wanted to really feel good? Why did that situation make me feel bad? Because everything you've been through is on your emotional hard drive anyway, and it's making you behave in certain ways whether or not you acknowledge it. So it's better to sort of figure that out, you know. So I love talking about memory.
Marilu,
We do Memory Monday, too, on the show.
Thank you for everything you've done,
No,
for
thank you.
everything you do, and for everything you continue to do.
Thank
You're
you.
a blessing to us all, and we're thrilled that you shared it
Oh,
with us today.
thank you so much. Thank you.